Before we get started, to find out how a PIR works, please have a look at my How It Works video. It's explained and illustrated in such a way that anyone can understand it. I go through what PIRs can actually see, the importance of the lens, pulse counting, false alarm immunity, and much more. A link to the video is above and also shown at the end of this video.
Racal IR772 Mark II, as advertised on the front of the box. Just what everyone wants to know. Yes, I am a very large motion sensor in a corner of your room, and I'm the Mark II version. If this detector was designed to be this way around, then it will sit quite nicely in the corner of a room. But it's not. You'd either have to put this in the middle of the room, which some people didn't like, or you'd put it in a corner. But then it looks hideous. Now, if you can imagine this being in the corner of the room, then you've still got to open this by putting in a coin into the side there and turning. Fits in there, give it a little turn, and it opens up that side. Same on this side, give it a little turn. There we go. Good things about this detector? Well, one, it was a little bit cheaper than the other ones. It was like targeted at the domestic market maybe. Two, the optics is completely sealed. So if a spider were to crawl into here, then it won't affect the bit that matters and it won't generate a false alarm by getting into here. Three, the bit that is affected by radio interference is completely shielded by the case here. Now we go to the bad things about this detector. One of the common things with this particular design was it was not very sensitive compared to other detectors. They were notorious for it. I mean, you put one of these up in like a shop or something and it would take about 3 to 4 footsteps sometimes before it actually detected you.
A part of this problem was the IR772 lens. Using a very small red LED placed in front of the pyro, we can see the detection regions of the IR772. The summary is it's very flat. If we compare this to a Racal 1012, which came onto the market about 2 or 3 years after the IR772, this not only has more detection areas, but these are better spread out using 4 horizontal levels. All PIRs from the 90s had at least a dual element pyro to create a positive and negative motion sequence before an alarm was produced. This is all explained in my separate PIR How It Works video. But the IR772 has none of these. Therefore, it was a relatively unstable PIR, especially when introduced to drafts, warm air heating systems, and other environments that were not suitable to early PIR detectors like garages.
Now, the other bad thing about these is the tamper switch. Normally you'd have some kind of micro switch on the side here, which when you put the lid on, it pressed the micro switch and it cleared the tamper circuit. This does not have it. There is a tamper switch, but it's more of a link. And what it does is it joins 2 of these terminals together. It's a really bad design. And the link is there. Normally closed tamper 6 and 7. So 6 and 7, let's follow the tracks. Yep, that goes to that terminal, and then 7 goes to that terminal. So yep, I'm right. When you put the lid on, it places a short circuit over these 2 tracks here. So with the lid on, you can feel the last little bit just sliding onto the circuit board. There we go. It's now putting a link on the tamper pair. Now you would say, what's the problem with that? Makes it a little bit cheaper maybe. Instead, with movement and time and dust and dirt and all that sort of stuff, then you get a resistance build up between this and the link back onto this terminal. So in practice, what you got is you got a lot of tamper alarms off these detectors, and to clear it, basically you remove the lid, you plug it back on, that forms sort of like a new contact and you'll sort of like get away with it. But then over time, the resistance starts increasing, then you get another false alarm from the tamper switch. Now, I'm not saying that that was the case with all of these, but that was a particular bad thing about these detectors. We are actually going to break the warranty seal, but it's well expired. I'm just going to see if I can get the back plate off, just to see if we can find some kind of sticker on it. This detector is brand new. Oh, there we go. It's come off quite easy. So what holds that on then? Or is it just sat there? I suppose, yeah, it is. It's just, I mean, this was originally designed without this back plate. Let's just take that off again. Comes off very easily. It was designed just to be screwed onto the wall like that. Obviously up much higher than that. Alright, so you had to screw this to the wall first with raw plugs and screws, and then you put this over it, and then there were another 2 screws that fixed this to the back. There we go. Can you see the pyroelectric detector there reflecting in the mirror? So there it is, and it aims up into the mirror here. And now we can see all the little detection regions. So walking across the room here, and you can see the pyroelectric detector following you around the room until you get to here. That's the corner one. Back around the room, still seeing you, until it gets to there. And then this is the look down zone that's above it. So if we just tilt the detector upwards, so it should be looking down a little bit more. See if we can find it again. So there it is, and yep. But then the look down zone is not really a lot different. So this particular detector doesn't have the ability to see any lower than that. There is no anti-creep, so you can walk underneath it. We have a look at the Racal 1012 that has the look down zones. So if you walk directly underneath this, this is going to pick you up because the lens has a little anti-creep bit.
A lot of time and effort goes into creating these videos to make them as interesting and informative as possible. Our motto is quality, not quantity. If you've enjoyed watching, please consider subscribing to the Mr. Matt and Mr. Che channel.